Worried about gout? Check out Ural, the effective urinary alkalinizer. Ural, neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Welcome to KiniNews. I'm your host Prasad. Umno and Bersatu still appear to be bickering over whose fault it was that the Sosma vote failed in Parliament. Today, an Umno leader called on Hamzah Zainudin to ask the leaders from Bersatu why they were absent from the vote.
BN Secretary General Ahmad Maslan has challenged Home Minister Hamzah Zainudin to question MPs from his own party who did not show up to vote on the Security Offences Special Measures Act last week. The Pontian MP said Hamzah should not be blaming MPs from Umno because some of them have valid reasons to be absent. Speaking to Utusan Malaysia, Ahmad said he was absent because he was told that there won't be a vote. Meanwhile, he added that his BN colleague and Pekan MP Najib Abdul Razak was absent because the latter was in court. Ahmad also questioned where was Pago MP and Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin and Alur Gajah MP Muhammad Rezwan Muhammad Yusof. 2 days after the vote, a frustrated Hamzah told the press that some MPs were absent from the vote because they did not like his face. Hamzah argued that those MPs he was referring to were present during the debate on the motion, but absent during the vote. The government lost the vote by 1, with 85 ayes and 86 nays. This was the first time in Parliament's history that a government matter was voted down. According to the Hansard, there were 50 MPs absent during the vote.
The Education Ministry mustered enough effort to finally attempt to solve the woes of unpaid school cleaners from Sabak Bernam by issuing them a handwritten assurance.
The Education Ministry gave unpaid school cleaners from Sabak Bernam a handwritten assurance that they'll receive their backpay on April 1st. The handwritten letter came hours after the cleaners gathered to hold the protest and submit a memorandum demanding their unsettled wages to the Prime Minister's office in Putrajaya this morning. The handwritten letter of assurance with an official stamp was received after today's discussions with the PMO and the Ministry of Education. On the blacklisting of the accused companies, an MOE rep simply identified as Puan Aidawati had confirmed that all complaints will be investigated and appropriate action taken. The wages of the school cleaners, which is less than 1,000 ringgit after EPF and SOCSO contributions, are said to have not been paid since November last year.
Pekerja-pekerja kebersihan ini melibatkan 19 buah sekolah di Sabak Bernam yang mengalami masalah tak dibayar gaji sejak November 2021.
30 workers took part in today's strike, organised by the Network of Government Contract Workers.
Dan sekarang hajat diorang tu tercapai lah. Kita orang sampai ke sini nak tuntut hak diorang. Benda ni dah berlalu terlalu lama. Jadi diorang memang dah kata hampa sangat. Kau boleh kita orang memang nak blacklist terus syarikat ni. Tak sepatutnya dia ambil tender yang macam inilah buat menyiksa pekerja-pekerja saja. Dia memang tak jaga kebajikan pekerja langsung. Jadi kita orang seboleh-bolehnya hari ni memang kita orang nak kata putus hitam putihnya daripada sini, baru kita orang gerak balik. Kalau tak ada hitam putihnya, kita orang masih stay kat sini sampai kita orang puas hati dengan keputusan yang untuk hari ni lah.
The workers' victory comes after months of campaigning and protests by the school cleaners over the unpaid wages.
Activists have questioned if this is a democracy after they were called by the cops over a peaceful protest outside Parliament recently.
Bersih Chairperson Thomas Fan has condemned the police for questioning him and Swaram coordinator Wang Yang Ke over a recent peaceful protest outside Parliament. Fan called it a waste of police resources and time.
This should be a normal in a democracy, that the rakyat represented by NGO or otherwise should have a right to come before Parliament to hand over the memorandum and even hold a peaceful protest is guaranteed under our constitution. So why are the police still calling activists like ourselves and others to be questioned?
They were questioned in connection to a rally in which 2 memorandums were handed over to Parliament concerning the anti-party hopping law and the Independent Police Conduct Commission.
I believe many Rakyat will be saying, why should I bother to come out and vote if my vote can be changed by party hopping? So that's why the urgency to call on the government and the MPs to push for the anti-hopping law to be passed. Now, they didn't table it at the last 2 days of sitting, but what has happened, according to report, is that the Prime Minister has promised to table it on April 11.
Both were questioned under the Peaceful Assembly Act Section 9, Bracket 1, which states that the organizer of a rally has to notify the police 5 days before the event is held.
Malaysia Kini was fined RM500,000 last year for contempt. It sought a review for the decision. However, it was dismissed.
Malaysia Kini has failed in its application to overturn the federal court's ruling that found the news portal in contempt over readers' comments. A 7-panel Apex Court bench chaired by Zaleha Yusof unanimously dismissed Malaysia Kini's application for a review. The panel, due to the matter being of public interest, made no order as to costs. On February 19th last year, a majority 6-1 federal court decision found Malaysia Kini guilty of contempt. The Apex bench, in its finding, meted out a 500,000 ringgit fine, far higher than the 200,000 ringgit sought by the Attorney General's chambers.
EPF has released more details on how you can apply for the special withdrawal starting this Friday.
EPF members can start applying for the special withdrawal from their retirement savings starting April 1st until April 30th. Based on a statement from EPF today, payments will be made as early as April 20th. The withdrawals can be done via the EPF iAccount mobile app or a dedicated website at pengeluarankhas.kwsp.gov.my. EPF said the payment will be made in a lump sum and credited into the savings or current accounts of the contributors. Joint accounts and accounts registered under a company name are not allowed. Those who apply for the withdrawal can check their application status starting April 9th through the dedicated website or mobile app. EPF also encouraged members to check the balance in their EPF account before submitting an application. It stressed that this special withdrawal is meant to help members who are still affected by the pandemic in order to help them with their pressing needs. EPF added that it would like to remind its members to consider their income in the future and only make the withdrawals if it is truly needed. The maximum amount that can be withdrawn is 10,000 ringgit and the minimum is set at 50 ringgit. Members have to fully use up the funds in their account too before they can access their account 1 for the withdrawal. They also have to maintain a minimum of 100 ringgit in their account.
As the country enters the endemic phase and borders reopen on April 1st, one Umno leader wants to know why Masejahtera is still collecting tracking information of its users.
Umno Deputy President Muhammad Hassan wants the government to explain why it is keeping tracking information through the Masejahtera application beyond April 1st. He said the Malaysian people cannot be burdened with a direct surveillance mechanism forever, as it is an invasion of privacy. Muhammad added that the government has to decide a period when all this ends so that life can go back to normal. The UMNO leader's comments on the matter came amidst ongoing discussions between Putrajaya and MySJ Sendirian Berhad on a possible deal to keep the Masejahtera smartphone application running. The application, developed by KPI Soft Malaysia, now known as Entomo Malaysia in 2020, was primarily used as a contact tracing system. It has since branched into a vaccination appointment application and is capable of proximity tracking through Bluetooth. An ongoing commercial dispute initiated by P2 Asset Management Sendirian Berhad has revealed that Entomo Malaysia had set up MySJ Sendirian Berhad as the vehicle that would commercialize the Masejahtera application. Muhammad also urged Putrajaya to explain if it was considering, without an open tender, to enter into an agreement with MySJ Sendirian Berhad. Muhammad said the MySejahtera application had national importance because it involved personal data, health information and movement details of the users.
The DSA Expo is ongoing in Kuala Lumpur, and the US said it is keen to boost bilateral relations with Malaysia at the launch of its pavilion there.
The United States has approved approximately $230 million in security assistance for Malaysia since 2018. This includes military-related training and exchange programs. At the current exchange rate, the amount is nearly 1 billion ringgit. Commanding General of United States Army Pacific, Charles A. Flynn, said the assistance also includes the provision of equipment as well as education. He said the U.S. is proud to partner with the Malaysian Armed Forces in key developmental areas and looks forward to this year's Malaysia-U.S. talk, which promises further development of the bilateral relationship. He said this in his speech before officiating the U.S. Partnership Pavilion at the Defense Services Asia Exhibition and National Security Conference Asia 2022 today. Also present was the U.S. Ambassador to Malaysia, Brian D. McPheeters.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.